Hey hotties, it's hotter than the devil's butt crack outside, especially in the South right now. So I wanted to show you how I do my summer makeup routine because sometimes I really just don't want a whole lot on my face. I still want to look good, but I don't want a lot on my face. So let's get into it. First, we start with skin prep. My face is already washed. Honestly, you don't have to wash your face unless you like a completely blank canvas, like completely clean. I really needed to wash my face. I try to wash my face twice a day because it just really helps my hormonal acne. And as you can see, I am having some breakouts right now. So I really need to get on my grind. I do have different variations of this routine depending on what I'm doing. So depending on how much makeup I'm actually putting on my face, depends on the skincare that I put on. For this specific routine, I'm only going to go in with the Bioma Phytomucin Glow Serum and then the Good Molecules Wake Up Eye Gel. If anybody has any good recommendations for under eye cream or eye gel that's really hydrating, please give your girl some recommendations because I'm trying to find something better. I only use like 2 pumps of the Phytomucin Glow Serum because if it's more than that, then it's a little too much. If you have more oily skin, then you can definitely go without like some kind of hydrating serum and just go straight into the moisturizer and the sunscreen. But I've noticed that as I've gotten older, my skin has gotten just like a little more on the dry side in certain spots. So I try to just add like a little more hydration. Otherwise, the moisturizer just does not do enough for me. Go in with the Good Molecules. I just like to put it under my eyes because it just gives it a nice little base for the concealer, but I've been noticing it's been making my concealer look kind of weird. I never used to do that with my Hourglass concealer, so maybe it's just the other one that I'm using, but I kind of want to try something different because I've been using that thing for years and I just hate the packaging for it. I fear that I am way obsessed with the movie K-pop Demon Hunters. It is just so freaking good. They executed that movie like perfectly. Songs are phenomenal. The voice actors were phenomenal. Those who sang for the characters, amazing voices. Really just cooked on that movie, and I'm so happy that the K-pop stans got a movie that actually represented them well and didn't make us look like fools. I then go in with Vanicream moisturizer. I've just been using it. It's unscented, but I probably will start using a different moisturizer once I finish that up because this is kind of thick, so can't do too much because then it's like way too heavy on your face. But if you don't do enough, then your face is like really gross and dry. I am not going anywhere. I don't have plans to go anywhere. I'm just doing this for the sake of the video because I just realized I've never shown any routine on how I do anything, and I love makeup, so I'm gonna show you because why the hell not. If I am going somewhere, I will put this Bioma sunscreen on. This is actually the only sunscreen that I have shockingly been able to find that does not break me out in a rash, and I'm not sure why. I know a couple of other people said this one did break them out in a rash, so I guess it kind of just depends on what you are sensitive to, but this one has worked really well for me, and it's not like super greasy on the face either. This one does have hyaluronic acid in it, so it is a little bit more hydrating, so it does layer really well underneath makeup, and it kind of gives you just like a little bit more natural glow. As I previously mentioned, I have different variations to this routine, and depending on what I'm doing, I will put more makeup on my face. Now, if I'm going to work especially, I will go in with the House Labs foundation because it has decent coverage and it really doesn't feel too heavy on the face, and it actually stays on my face fairly well. And I also wore this to my Stray Kids concert. If you haven't watched the vlog for that, maybe you should. You don't have to. Maybe you should. I wore this to the Stray Kids concert and I was crying and sweating and my shit did not come off my face. So she is that girl. She is that girl. This routine, this is the one that I just go with if I want just a little bit of coverage and I just want a little bit of makeup on, but I don't want anything super heavy on my face. This is how I did it when I went to Florida in 2024 and it was hot as balls outside and I was sweating like a maniac and my stuff still stayed on my face for the most part and I looked cute. I think I looked cute. Maybe other people don't agree with me, but whatever. Like a disclaimer, this works for me and it might not work for you, but I've been doing this for multiple years. Like this is kind of how I've roughly been doing it for multiple years now, and it works for me because you're gonna have to figure out how to do your makeup a little differently when you're in Texas and it's almost 100 degrees out. I did that to myself though. I chose to live in Texas. I would rather be sweating my ass off than freezing cold because I'm an old man. I can't take it. I know I was showing the Tower 28 concealer and I actually do really like this one and I use this one quite often, but I actually think I'm going to use my Hourglass one because it's been a little while since I've touched it, which is not good because it's a very expensive concealer. It's very good. It has a little bit more coverage, and so we're gonna use this one today. For reference, I am shade Creme. I am the lightest shade, if you couldn't tell. This one is like my perfect skin match because I don't really tan. I burn, I don't really tan, and honestly, like, I go outside and I wear my sunscreen, so I don't really get much color on my face. So this usually stays the same year round. What I normally do is I go with the under eyes first and I don't put a lot. If you can't see, I have really dark under eyes, which is why I love this one because it covers my under eyes actually pretty dang well because I've always had dark under eyes. I always put those on the under eyes just because I like to let it sit because it does give it a little bit better coverage. Then I go and I cover all of my spots, and I have a mirror here so I can't face you guys when I do it directly. If they're the smaller spots, then I'll put like a little bit less. I've also been like breaking out like really bad right here, and I'm not really sure what's going on because I thought I fixed that, but I guess not, girl. I don't always put it on like the really big breakouts because those are usually a little bit more dry and textured. So it kind of just depends on how they are. Today I'm gonna try it out. I'm not leaving, so. I also will put it in some other spots that don't exactly have acne spots just to kind of even things out just a little bit more. No, I look insane right now, okay? This is how I do it. Depending on my patience level, depends on what tool I use. There's a lot of times that I will go in with this Morphe concealer brush and I really like it. It looks really nice, but I'm not feeling that right now. So Beauty Blender it is. This is what I typically use because it's just a lot easier for me and it takes less time. I just go in and I focus like right on the spot instead of like blending it all the way around. I mostly just focus it on the specific spot. And yeah, I am not going for full coverage here. I am mostly just going for evening some things out and things looking a little less red. I'm not looking to cover every single spot that is on my face because that is actually a lot. Also in the summer, I don't like to cover up my freckles because I actually quite like my freckles and I try not to cover them up too much. I understand I do the under eye concealer, but I try to keep it remaining on the actual dark circles. My freckles usually fan out this way, so I try to keep them as visible as possible. Now everything is completely blended out, or at least I hope it is. I don't know, I can't really see very well. I don't have my glasses on. So now I go onto the under eyes and I really just try and focus where it's darkest right here because that's what's gonna look the most natural. This concealer, this is why I put like the tiniest little dot because it is fairly full coverage, and if you have too much then it'll be way too much coverage and you just won't know where to put it. Like I said, I am being very lazy and using the Beauty Blender, but if you want a more precise natural application, then you want to use a concealer brush like this Morphe one. See how that just looks a little bit more natural and it looks a little bit closer to my actual skin tone, and I just like doing it like this. Makes it look like I've actually slept. I do sleep a lot. It looks like I haven't. Now that I've put concealer all over my face to even out my redness, I'm going to make my face even more red and put blush on. Makes sense? No, but this is how I do it because then it's an even tone and it looks cute. Doing a more full coverage routine, then I will like pile on the blush. I usually put a lot of blush on. I look like a clown typically, but when I do it like this, I put just like a little bit of blush on and I call it a day. If it comes off, it comes off. You know what I mean? Put it on the back of my hand and I genuinely just kind of put it on my cheeks like this. In the summer, I do kind of like that little more like sunburnt kind of look. I know, I don't make sense. Putting the blush on the back of your hand and then putting a brush, it has been a game changer. It has made my blush application so much more even and so much better. I'm actually doing like makeup for work. I will do like a routine where I'm like focusing it more on the apples of my cheeks, but for this, I just think it looks cute all across like this. Okay, you don't have to apply your blush like this. This is just how I like it. And I forgot to mention, if you really do want this to stay, even if it's not a lot, you want to use setting spray like in between each step that you're doing. So you'd probably want to do it after your concealer and then after the blush. But I'm just going to put it on all at the end because I'm not worried. I'm not leaving the house. Is this a necessary step? No, but I like how it looks because it literally just adds like a nice little like beautiful glow to you. But this is the House Labs highlighter in the shade Moonstone. I went into Sephora one day to swatch this, and I just out of curiosity because I was looking for a good highlighter. I have the Rare Beauty highlighter, but honestly, like the liquid highlighter just wasn't really my thing. Like it was honestly kind of harder for me to work with. So I wanted like a powder one. I haven't used a powder highlighter in a really, really long time. And then I saw this one. I use it every single day, especially for like a fair, like really pale girl. Like it looks so good. For the longest time, I had a really hard time with finding a highlighter that didn't like, you couldn't see it from the front and it looked just so weird. But this one, like, do you see it just has like a nice little glow to it? Like, oh my God. I put it on the tip of my nose, the bridge, and then the cheekbones. And it just like, beautiful. No, I don't use bronzer because I'm not huge on bronzer unless I'm doing a full face of makeup. I will go in with my all-nighter setting spray and douse my face in it. But I'm not gonna actually douse my face in it today because again, I'm not leaving. Most of the time I do not leave the house without mascara on, so my go-to is actually the Roller Lash from Benefit. This has been the mascara that I used for literally years, like ever since I had enough big girl money to start getting better makeup. This is the mascara that I've always used. I don't know why, like I really just like the way that it makes my lashes look, and like it doesn't flake too much. Maybe there's better mascaras out there, but I just really like this one, so I've always used it. Also found that like drugstore mascaras just dry out really fast compared to high-end, and I'm not really sure what that is because I have used drugstore mascaras multiple times. Like before I got big girl money, that's what I was using, don't worry. But they just dry out so much faster for some reason. Seriously, don't know what kind of crack they put into K-pop Demon Hunters. I have Golden stuck in my head. And if you've watched that, good. It's amazing. I've come to terms that if the Saja Boys were real, I'd be cooked. I would be so cooked because like, why are those songs so addicting? Your Idol especially, oh my God, it's so good. Speaking of Saja Boys, I get to see the real life Saja Boys in August, aka ATs. They are my second favorite group and I literally adore them so much. And they toured last year, but I did not get to make it because they went to Dallas and I did not have the money at the time. But I made sure that I bought tickets this time because the tickets were actually fairly decent price. My mom and I are going to ATs. It is up in Dallas again, but you know, we're gonna make a little weekend of it. I know my routine is literally all over the place, but this is kind of how I do it. So while the setting spray dries, I will usually put on the mascara, and sometimes I'll put on the brow gel. The brow gel always goes on, but sometimes it depends on when I actually put it in. So after the setting spray dries, I do put a little bit of powder. Now, if I'm doing a more full coverage, full face, I'll go in with a powder puff. But if I'm literally just doing this, I will take just like a smaller brush. And I had a different powder last year when I did this. It was a pressed powder, not a loose powder. So I will just put it like just under the eyes right here. Also put it like in my T-zone. It doesn't like fully set it, but it just keeps it from being like super duper greasy and feeling super gross. I always definitely like get it like in my little nose creases because that's where I get super greasy. This is the L'Oreal Infallible Blurfection setting powder, and it's in the shade there is no shade on there. I think it's the translucent because they didn't have the pink one that I wanted, so I just went with translucent because play it safe, why not? But I put too much in here, so I'm trying to keep it as little of a mess as possible. Brow gel that I'm always using is the NYX Brow Glue. This is actually the dark brown one, the tinted one. I have been wanting to try some other like brow gels, but I'm just not sure what ones are actually good. I've heard the Rare Beauty one is good, and I do really like Rare Beauty, but that brow gel is really expensive, and this one's only like $8 if I remember. For brow gel, that's really not bad, and it keeps my brows fairly in place. Not a brow expert, okay? The brows are like the part that I care about probably the least, so I don't really know how to style my brows. I just kind of go until they look decent enough. Typically, I am really bad about lip products because I'm really bad about sitting there and reapplying them. But if I'm doing a routine like this, I will go with like something that leaves a stain on, so it's a little more low maintenance. I honestly really like these NYX Lip IVs because they have a good range of colors, and honestly, you don't need a lot on your lips for it to have good pigment, and they leave really nice stains. Just put like the tiniest amount on there. I don't want it looking like I have lipstick on, okay? Like that's just me. That's usually reserved for the full face. If I don't do this one, I will do the Rare Beauty lip oil. I don't remember what color it's in, but it does look a little bit more natural. Or typically I would go in with my Ole Henriksen strawberry one because it just had like a nice little pink tint to it, but I actually lost that. So I need to get a new one because that is probably some of the best lip balm I've ever used in my entire life. Here is the finished routine. This is just how I like to do my makeup in the summer because I have a lot of sensory issues, okay? Like I can't always be putting a bunch of makeup on my face, especially like if I'm going to be outside for a very long time, which is why I do it like this, because it's enough on my face. And yeah, you can tell I have makeup on. That's kind of the point, but it's not like super heavy. Whereas, you know, if I'm working, I will put this on because I'm just in an office that's air conditioned literally all day. I hope you enjoyed. I hope this helped you out a little bit on how to kind of do your makeup during the summer, especially if you live in the South like I do. And if not, that's okay. I hope you still enjoyed nonetheless. I hope you have a good day. I love you.